Hi there, today's topic, timing lights. In a previous video, we've already gone through how to use a timing light, how to set your TDC offset angle, and how to ensure that the ignition timing is synchronized between your ECU and your engine. But what happens when you've got a coil-on-plug ignition system? Now, how do you get that timing light to work? Before the invent of coil-on-plug ignition systems, we used to have a distributor, we used to have a single coil, and we used to have a high tension lead that went from the coil to the distributor cap. Then the distributor would do its job of distributing that high voltage ignition from the distributor cap out to each individual spark plug. When we go to a direct fire ignition system or a coil-on-plug style ignition system, we've got one individual coil per cylinder, per spark plug. We've got a boot that directs that spark from the coil straight to the spark plug. So there's no high tension lead. This presents a bit of a problem when we're trying to use our timing light. Here's Old Faithful here. The clamp that's supposed to go over the high tension lead, so how it's supposed to work is we've got a lead that normally went from the distributor cap to the spark plug. We'd put our clip over that. This in turn would trigger our timing light and we'd be able to fire that at the engine and see where the ignition timing is firing. But when we've got a coil-on-plug setup, it makes it a little bit more complicated. There's nowhere to put it. So let's have a look at this 2JZ engine and this RB engine of how to set it up so we can fire our timing light at the engine and check that we've got the correct ignition timing. Now there's a few different ways to check the timing on a coil-on-plug style engine. The best way is to use something like this. This is one of the Nissan tools. It's got a high tension lead, but it's got a really long stalk on one end and it's got a spark plug lead on the other end. So we can pull that coil out, jam that into the coil, then this sits down on the spark plug and all of a sudden we've got a high tension lead to plug our timing light onto. We can also clip our timing light over the side of the coil. Now, this isn't always ideal. Sometimes it's just for a quick timing check or to see if we've got spark or see what's happening. You can also, in some cases, put the timing light over the ignition output wire. These are going to the coil. Now, there's three different separate methods. This method does give us the best result. We can introduce offsets by clipping onto the top of the coil or the ignition output from the ECU. But today, let's try all three and we'll see what the results are. You've probably noticed by now that my old timing light is looking a little worse for wear, but it's super reliable and I do love it. It's an old Heller brand timing light. It's got some battery clips on it. Can get them with a built-in battery. I always find that the battery's always dead, so easier to just find a power supply on the engine itself. It's got our clamp. It does not have a dial back thing, so it is not a dial back timing light. Some timing lights have got a little knob on the back where once you've got it flashing, you can twist around to try and figure out your offsets. I always find that the old school timing lights seem to do me fairly well. Now, before I clip it onto the 2JZ engine here, I'm going to use the NSP software. I'm going to enable the lock timing. So I'm going to lock the timing on this engine at 0 degrees. I've marked the crankshaft for 0 degrees. I've also marked the camshafts at 0 degrees and just put some white marks on all of the positions where you would line up the timing belt on this engine. And then we'll use each different method. We'll first clip the light over one of the ignition output wires, then we'll clip it onto the side of the coil, and then we'll pull the coil out and clip it over a high tension lead, and we'll see if there's any differences. Okay, first method, we're going to go over the ignition output wire. This is normally the worst method because there's not a lot of current here, so it really struggles to pick up a flashing light. Okay, there's our first method, and what we're finding there is that it's fairly intermittent. The light's having a really hard time picking up off that particular one. The next method, if I hold this over the back of the coil, just get a bit of a feel for the right spot. There we go. Still a little bit difficult, but if we look at that, I can check on the cam gears there, they're lining up 0 and 0, 0 and 0. If I look down the bottom there, I'm going to see 0 and 0. So I'm only getting it to pick up off one side of the coil. This is important to know because you could easily be moving the coil on the wrong side of the coil here and think it's got no spark, when in actual fact it does. So method 1 and method 2, while they do work, well, I really don't like relying on either of those methods because they don't work in every single application. Some might trigger off the ignition output from the ECU. Most will trigger off getting it on the right spot on the coil somewhere, but all will trigger off the high tension lead. One of the other hints that I've got here while we're using the timing light is to not always assume that because your timing light's not flashing, it means that there's no spark. It's often not the case, and there's a lot of misdiagnosis in that area. If a spark plug's fouled, meaning that the spark is firing to the side of the spark plug, not off the tip, it's not inducing any current through that spark plug, in turn not pulling any current through the plug lead, so the timing light, when you clip it over, won't sense anything, it won't flash, and you'll think there's no spark. So you'll be off looking for an engine management problem or a wiring problem or a coil problem or an ignition problem, when in actual fact it might just be a wet spark plug. So that's always a good place to start if your timing light isn't flashing and your engine's not running. Okay, I've just popped this coil out. I'm just going to gently jam that bit into there, leave that on the side. Having a nice long shaft on that makes it super easy to be able to clip that straight in, and there we go. Another hint here as well is that it's a really, really bad idea to fire an ignition coil with no ground path. What I mean by that, I'll pop this out again. If I just had that coil sitting there in the breeze and I crank the engine, that coil is getting a signal, it is firing a spark, but it's shorting internally because it has no path to ground. It's never a good idea for a coil to jump a gap more than, let's say, 10 millimeters or about ½ an inch. Any further than that, and you'll find that the coil will short internally and you'll actually be doing damage to the coil. So if you are checking for spark, maybe pop an old spark plug in there, hold it or lean it against a grounded surface to make sure that there is a path to ground. Back to our timing light, I'll pop that back in. Also a lot safer doing it this way. If we've got leads hanging around and we've got timing belts or harmonic balancers flying around, and there are high voltages here. So if you put your fingers in the wrong spot or the right spot, depending on how you look at it, you are going to get a belt. So using the lead correctly, setting everything up right, you haven't got your hands around there, there's nothing around any of the spinning parts on the front of the engine. This is by the book, this is the right way to do it. Let's fire it back up and we'll see what our ignition timing looks like. So straight away the light is rock solid, I can wobble everything around, nothing's going to move. Can come up here and we're bang on, we get the idea. So that was by far the easiest and most repeatable and reliable way to do it, by inserting a high tension lead between the coil and the spark plug. If you don't have one of the factory tools like this, you can make one out of a normal high tension lead. Not quite as good, and sometimes it's tricky to get the spark plug end right down there in some of these later cylinder heads. If you pull the other end back, make sure you get it right up the coil, and you can do it with just a normal high tension lead. And remember, the same method applies regardless of the engine that you've got. Whether you've got a 2JZ engine, whether you've got a Toyota Camry, whether you've got a Daihatsu Charade, it doesn't matter what type of engine you've got, whether you've got a billet RB. But one of the things that does make a difference is knowing where the timing marks are. On this engine, for example, 2 of them are sitting up the top, down the bottom, very easy to get to. Whereas on a highly modified engine like this, we've got custom cam gears, it's got a billet block, it's got a custom harmonic balancer, everything is aftermarket. So we need to know where the timing marks are. On this particular setup, we've got timing marks on either side of the gears here, We know exactly where they are, so that's what we're going to be lining up our dots against, but that's something you need to be aware of before you try and set your ignition timing. Now, I hope today's video has helped you to better understand how your timing light works, why your timing light works, and where is the best place to get the signal for your timing light. As always, thanks so much for watching. My name's Scott. Catch you next time.